Hey guys, and welcome back to the Polish American Brotherhood. Thanks for joining us on this test live stream as I'm still trying to work through different technical issues. So thanks for participating, and in the comments during the chat, if there's issues with the microphones or feedback or echoes, or you can't hear Dad or me, or maybe I have us on mute, just please feel free to type that into the chat so that way I can respond. I'll let Dad carry the show most of this evening, which is going to be a very short segment because I am preparing to, oops, there we go. That's what happens when you're doing both tech and trying to participate as well. But I am ramping up to be flying to New York very early in the morning. So tonight we're not going to run like a 2-hour show. We just wanted to be able to connect with you guys and make sure that we start to make this live stream a regular occurrence. So on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Join in with us. We will be live unless I'm out of town, but I'll still find a workaround around that. But we are bringing back to you the Polish American Brotherhood podcast. So without further ado, welcome my father, Marian.
Thank you, Tara. As a Polish American Brotherhood, we're going to talk mostly about the relation between Poland and United States, Mr. Trump. And also I want to mention about my project, the Mariana project, which is supposed to make the America great. Thank you, Tara, for welcoming me, and thank you for friends on So if you have a question, let me know about the Mariana project. We have to press Mr. President and Elon Musk to start that project. Hopefully, I can get in touch with him. So every chance I'm gonna have, I would like to talk about my project because that's good for America. This project make America great. So thank you, friends, and anytime you have a question about the project, I understand that it's very hard to understand with my explanation, but I do my best to answer your question. What's about the Mariana project? Okay, so I can see. Oh, okay, now better. So my friends, I welcome to Davan, Snooks. Okay, they all the time here and they supporting us. So thanks very much. And we gonna try to improve our show that hopefully you will understand what we have in mind, and I will always be pressing for our best president, Donald Trump, and God bless America for the president that we have now. He's the greatest president, and we all, he's in our hearts, the first thing, and we're always going to pray for him. And thanks to his friend, Elon Musk, too, that he stick with the president and supporting all that for the better America. I know that for him it's a very short time. 4 years, not that much, but somehow he may be carried this idea with another president, what's going to be after Mr. Trump. So
I have a question for you, Dad. I had actually heard, I don't know if you guys have read a recent article on Politico, that they're saying that Elon is going to be stepping down earlier than the 130 days. I mean, there has been massive amounts of protests and possibly the pressure's getting there. I do feel as the CEO, he does have a responsibility to the shareholders because it's driving down the Tesla stock a lot. But I know that Caroline Leavitt from the press secretary for the White House had said this is a non-story, but what are your thoughts if Elon is considering to be stepping down sooner?
Well, I don't believe Elon Musk going to leave us. He may be going to take care more about his business, but he never going to leave America to let the other those people who not like America, to let them run our country. Our country is so beautiful, still very powerful, but we need to full support our president. And Elon Musk never going to betray our president. And for good of America, we have to stay strong. Otherwise, China going to take us over. Like I said, I love the Chinese people, but we cannot let the Chinese politician to take over the policies in America.
Speaking of China taking over, one of the ways that President Trump is preventing that from happening is the tariffs. So yesterday was known as Liberation Day. So that was the day that took into effect the multiple tariffs that it's a reciprocal tariffs that are going to be happening. For example, I know one of the things that they had been citing is like in India, for instance, it's like a 70% tariff that they have on motorbikes. High tariffs also in Vietnam for motorbikes. And so yesterday was known as Liberation Day. So what are your thoughts on the tariffs? Like, do you feel like we're going to be going through like a difficult time at the beginning of the implementation of these tariffs, and what do you think is going to happen afterwards?
Anything you implement from beginning is very hard. The other countries, they got used to take advantage of America to suck in all that blood from United States. We cannot allow that. So Mr. Trump is right that we're going to put the tariffs not only 25%, but yeah, not only 25%, but even 200% on those countries which don't try to cooperate with United States. We all came from all over the world here to make America great, and we want to keep that way. So uh, I hope my friends agree with me that the tariffs make sense for America, and Mr. Trump is always right. You know, that's number one. Mr. Trump is always right, and number two, look, number one, okay, that Mr. Trump is always right. He is the big patriot, and all what he wants to do only good for America, and also struggle in Poland. What's going on now? I know I don't have too many Polish people here. I hope they someday they're gonna join me on this Polish American Brotherhood, because that's the our program is for Polish and Americans. Poland wants to be the best friend of United States, and President, Polish President Mr. Duda, he's the best friend of Mr. Trump. So let's keep that way. That we're gonna support America, gonna support Poland, and Poland gonna support United States. Poland has no choice to who they can support, because Poland is between two super countries, and all of them they try to knock the Poland down. It's Germany and Russia. They are superpowers, and always they've been attacking Poland. And Polish sovereignty is very important to us. And you know how bad the politicians are. That's what happened in 2010, that they killed Polish president in Smolensk, and nobody talked that much about it, but eventually we're going to bring that subject to there, okay? And we want to talk about it. So hopefully Polish people from Polonia, which President Trump thanks Polish people in America that they've been supporting, and maybe because of that he got the majority of votes from Polish people. Polish people in America, they're great, and all Polish people support President Trump. And let's be that way, okay? God bless Polish people and American people. And God bless President Trump and Elon Musk. They are two greatest people in the world, and I love them. I love them to all my heart.
Sorry guys, if you saw me like ducking behind Dad, I noticed there was a glitch onto the camera a little bit, and I'm like, what is going on with my cameras that's causing it to spaz like that? But yeah, I had it set on like continuous autofocus, so every time we moved around you saw that little glitch, so I had to fix that to continuous focus. But aside from that, I was talking to Adam Francisco just before we jumped on our live, and because I'll be doing a collaboration video with him this weekend during the protests for with Adam Francisco and also Savannah Craven. She has a new YouTube channel, Her Patriot Voice, and he just told me that she was attacked just this evening when she was out doing street interviews and interviewing people about their stance on abortion. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up her Instagram. You guys probably do follow her. She's a great patriot as well. So Her Patriot Voice is her new channel. And yeah, so I'm sure you guys have seen her reels and some of her work and everything. So we will be doing a collab on Saturday during the protest. But yeah, she was out doing her regular thing, street interviews, and she described what Adam had updated me on was that she was out doing her regular street interviews, talking about abortion and debating with a woman. And she just like sucker punched her to the face and caused a cut on her eye. And so she's gonna have that visible when we make our collab video this weekend's protest. But it's just unbelievable that when people are engaging in debates, when they no longer have a valid argument, that they resort to violence. And I feel like this is something that we often see that is more on the left side than on the right side, because I really haven't seen all that much when a person who is voicing arguments on the right side, or a conservative standpoint, that they resort to using violence when they're losing the argument. What are your thoughts on that? Like, Savannah was attacked when she was making a video doing the regular street interviews, Dad, and then the woman she was interviewing just lost it and punched her in the face because she was basically losing the argument about abortion rights.
Well, any violence is unacceptable. Okay, we can talk, we can even loud talk, but violence, touching physically another person or anything like that, is a criminal thing, and they should be very punished. Big punishment for those who create violence, physical violence, and that's why we are against the immigrants who come into this country. And
No, we wouldn't call them immigrants when they're illegals. The technical term is illegal alien, when they're coming into the country and creating problems and violence, like the gangs that are being deported to El Salvador.
Yeah. So Mr. Trump tried to make the America safe, and anybody who comes to this country illegally or legally and create violence should be deported, and those who really bad, they should be sent to Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo Bay. They were using the Guantanamo Bay as a facility for jailing deported
terrorists,
deported terrorists.
But now we're gonna have to, because you think you deported, spend money on deportation, the immigrants to their countries, and a couple of days later they're coming back, because once you figure out how to cross the border, you're gonna come. They're gonna come again. And
Right,
we're going to just spend the money on them. So it's better to keep them in a place where they cannot just leave, For me, I would create like Russia have Siberia, we have Alaska, send them over there, that they wouldn't have a choice to leave the camp wherever they are.
Is that why when I was a kid, anytime I was misbehaving, you would always say, I'm sending you to Siberia? I didn't know what Siberia was as a kid, but whenever like me and my brothers would misbehave, Dad would say, I'm going to send you to Siberia. And it turns out that was like kind of where the gulags were for the communists, with SSSR, the USSR. The Soviets would send everybody in the Soviet bloc that if you were engaged in any propaganda against the state, or if you tried to leave, because after all, in the Soviet Union, who would ever want to be leaving paradise? So you were considered nuts if you were trying to leave. But my dad evidently was nuts over there, because he was able to successfully flee the country when Poland was occupied by the Soviet Union, cross over from Yugoslavia, and then get a political asylum when he reached Italy. And there he was sent to under the refugee program, sent to Canada. So his route that he had come, it was a different time than now, but like when people are coming through the refugee programs, you get a political asylum at the first safe space that you have. So those who are crossing, like maybe fleeing from Venezuela from political oppression there, like it's not like they're like you should be claiming asylum in the first safe place. So for a lot of those people who are asylum seekers, they would be able to get asylum in Mexico, for instance. Like the first place you claim asylum wouldn't be the USA. And then once you get political asylum there and you're accepted as a asylum seeker, then you have your choice of different refugee programs and places that you could be sent. And the options that, for instance, Dad, you were offered, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's Canada and Australia. Like what options did you have when you went to when you were accepted into the program?
My route was when I came to Italy, asked for political asylum. I was put in a refugee camp. It was very nice. I had roof over the head, friends. They give us food. Spent a lot of time going to the beach. It was very nice, And then you can sign. At that time, the most people been going to Canada because Canada needs people. Also United States people been going. Australia needs a lot of people, and South Africa. You know, so for me, I choose Canada, where I spent 5 years working for Chrysler, very hard. But my life turned me to later to California, where I spent 15 years, and I met Tara's mom over there, and started working for Continental United Airline, and brought us to Florida. So I'm happy to be in Florida, and I'm happy that have a daughter like Tara. But we mentioned about Siberia. I don't know how many people knows about Siberia. Where is it? And one thing probably everybody knows is very cold over there. And the sending mostly Polish people to Siberia was during a Tsar and later through Stalin, when they tried to depopulate Poland because they want the only land, Polish land, and they've been sending people to Siberia. But eventually, when the German hit Russia or Soviets, the Stalin had no choice, just create a Polish army. And we had a smart general who didn't want to fight on the side of Stalin, so he took that Polish army through Iran to Africa, where they joined the English, and they fight together with the English in Africa and Italy. And later they had a choice to relocate it to Canada or United States. That's why we have a lot of now Polish people in the United States or Canada. There is not that many Polish people in Florida, so I kind of miss to talk in my own language. My children don't speak Polish.
No, he didn't teach us.
Yeah, I thought that English, since English is a international language, and that's all what you know to communicate all over the world, and in own language, that's was good enough. But don't forget that I spent a lot of time working just to make you guys better life. So, but it's okay, It's nothing wrong that you don't speak Polish, because you now American, and if you know English, you can with that English you can do something for better America and help Mr. Trump and Mr. Elon Musk to do his dreams. And like I would say, you remember John Paul II, right? He says, don't be afraid. Fight for your rights. You remember when Donald Trump was hit by bullet in his ear? First thing what was? Fight, 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 right? So that's what we have to do. Don't be afraid. Fight for the rights. America is great, and we have to keep America great.
I want to highlight taking us back about our illegal immigration conversation that we're having earlier. Snooks, hey Snooks, she had mentioned how they had brought back the illegals from Guantanamo Bay because the tents that they didn't have air condition. Wow, I mean, what are your thoughts in terms of like the standards of jails?
Sending them to Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, sending them to Guantanamo Bay, but sent them back because the tents didn't have air condition. So, I mean, must be nice to be able to make those kind of demands.
If you want everything, the goods of the civilization, like air condition and the other stuff, you better behave well. Obey the rules, and then you're going to be okay. Work hard. You can get everything you wanted. But if you go on the left side of the law, then you have to suffer. That's what it is. Karma might get you. Karma.
I mean, there is a real problem about reintegrating, and I'm not talking about like terrorists. Like those type of people are not going to be reintegrated into society. But from the stance of when people do serve their time, to have them reintegrated into society, because for often like they'll fall back into a life of crime when they don't have other options. And so I was watching a video the other day of the different types of prisons that they have in El Salvador. So this is not the prison that they're the detention center or prison that they're sending the terrorist gangs to, but there's another jail that they have that that is focused more on like they're able to reduce their sentencing by working. So like if for every like day they work, they reduce like their sentence by like 2 hours, something like that. But it also allows them to have they learn a trade, they learn a skill. So they're working on like farming, for instance, and they're working on automobiles or call centers. And so they have completely reformed the approach with jails, so that way when the at least in this one jail, and I guess the types of crimes that the people commit and are found guilty of that are sent to this jail have to be of a certain regard that allows them to then basically work off the time of the crime, but then also get an education. Like this is the first jail in El Salvador that is allowing for people to get education while they're in jail, and then also to learn trades that give them a skill, so that way they don't have to fall back into a life of crime. And I don't agree with like we should be making jails luxurious or whatever, but it is important for those who have served their time to be able to effectively reintegrate into society in some regard. Otherwise, they become further burden onto society by perpetually committing crime and perpetually going back into jails, which are expensive for whether it's on the taxpayers. Though I did find out that a lot of jails are also privately funded, so people are making money off of more people going to jails, which is kind of an interesting point.
Well, one thing what I mentioned always about that Mariana project, okay, that it is taking care of the retirees, give them a better life when they retire, so they don't have to worry about that. The money will run away. They will be well take care of it. And since I'm gonna be talking on most of my programs, maybe someday you're gonna understand what I meant. But it is also the project will be connected to solving the homeless problem. And I have the idea, all what I need to support from the politicians, and all that project supposed to be paid by the social security, because that's what will be less problem for the social security to pay the more money, because Medicare is very expensive, and giving the money to the social security, which sometimes the money is abused. As you heard now, 400,000 the scammer took from our social security, and now the Elon Musk is after them, and hopefully they're gonna get caught. I mean, they get caught already, and they're gonna be punished for it. So a lot of money will be coming back to social security, and Mr. Trump says that he's going to give the money back to social recipients. Okay, but giving more money to the people, maybe sometimes the people will spend wrongly. But if we build my project, Mariana project, that's what gonna be, that the money will be spent wisely to take care of the people. And also everybody have to remember that someday everybody gonna retire, and if you wanna live in that kind project, you have to take care of your record. Don't make a criminal things, because that's what we first gonna watch. What did you do in your life? Did you work hard, and do you have a clean record? If you do, you will qualify, because it shouldn't be too expensive to live in this kind of project. So my project is good, but the problem it is to explain to Mr. President and Elon Musk about this project. Okay, so like I said, I'm sending the letters every week, and hopefully they're gonna eventually discover the letters, and maybe they can talk to me. So I can explain what I mean to make America great, that MAGA, what everybody have now in the mind, that MAGA will make America great, at the golden age, what Mr. Trump promised to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Changing gears. Look, we have the Polish flag with Dad today. What was wrong with the flag the other day?
Well, the flag was upside down, and basically, if you look at it, if you turn the flag upside down, that's the Indonesian flag. Polish flag is a red on the bottom and white on the top. Now, Indonesian flag, it is red on the top and white on the bottom. So I noticed and I correct Tara to make that Polish, since we are Polish. We love Indonesian people, but the thing it is, we actually representing more American Polish people. So.
Yeah, Dad's like, you know what would be a good idea is if you put the Polish flag up. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I have the Polish flag right there. And he goes, no, you have the Indonesian flag up. I'm like, whoops. Speaking about the flag, Dad, can you tell us what the colors on the Polish flag represent? Like, what are some interesting facts about the Poland flag?
Well, the white colors means purity and peace. The red, it is that Polish people, because of all the time, if you gonna find out about the wars, what was coming in Poland, Poland was all the time in a war, okay, either from Russia or Germany. So Polish people shed a lot of blood, and that's what it represents, the blood of Polish people during the hard time. Now, we have a lot of patriots in Poland, like also we have a lot of patriots in America. And now the patriots struggle in Poland. They call the patriots a fascist. That's not right, okay? Because fascist is different and patriots different. Patriots means love for own country, and everybody should love own country,
Fascism came from what? Italians, right?
That starts actually from Mussolini, that fascism was taken over by that man who, what's his name? Adolfi?
Hitler. a certain guy?
Hitler, or whatever his name is.
It wasn't
piece of shit,
But
can you imagine that Russian was already in Berlin over his bunker, and he still told people to fight? Can you imagine? He only cared for his life, didn't care for the Germans' life, and people still adore him. I don't know why. And now they're so hypocrites that they call patriots fascists. Which is not right. We cannot. Give up and telling that we are patriots and we're proud to be patriots, love America, love Poland, So we are proud to be patriots.
Yeah, so Poland several times in its history had been completely wiped off the map. So it's interesting that when was the most recent time that Poland was wiped off the map? Because it was like several times in Polish history, right? It's continuously been invaded.
Well, if you look to Polish history, we once been a very superpower, You can look to Polish military, which they call Husaria, was very powerful, okay? But eventually the German got strong, the Russia got strong, and they tried to expand, more land, and they tried to actually rid of it of Polish people, sending mostly them to Siberia. So Poland actually in 17th century was wiped out completely from the map for 123 years. And eventually when the German lost the war, the First World War, Poland became country again. Okay, for another 20 years, and then those Hitler's soldiers came and wiped out Poland again in the Second World War, So, but we've been always not only attacked by German or Russia, but don't forget that 12th century, in the 12th century, the Mongols came all the way to Poland. There was a very big battle in Poland named Legnica, where the Polish prince stood up to the Mongols, and actually he stabbed them, but Poland didn't win, but the Mongols didn't go any further. So that was good actually for Germans, which otherwise the Mongols would go further to Europe and probably knock all the Christianity too, you know. And don't forget that the biggest battle also was in Vienna when the King Sobieski went to help Vienna to knock the Ottoman Empire, and the battle was won by the Polish military.
Oh wow! What is your That was an interesting part of Polish history. Who are some of your favorite Polish leaders?
Well, Polish history actually is noted about 1,000 years ago when the 1966, not 966, so 1,000 years ago, when the Polish prince Mieszko I married a princess from Czech, and the princess brought the Christianity to Poland, and that's what Poland started to be stronger and stronger, you know. So we had more than 40 kings in Poland during that time, and the last king was wiped out too by Tsar. His name was Zygmunt Poniatowski, and Poland was gone. So we didn't have any more kings. But Polish history is very, I mean, everybody should go to Poland and find out how beautiful is Poland, how many history is there. Because when I came to America, everybody thought, only the English, France, and Spain, that's what everybody knows. But they don't go any further that Poland has a big history also.
What was the original conception for why you decided to create the Polish American Brotherhood?
Well, basically, not only because I'm Polish, okay, but Poland needs also a good partner, and we cannot go to a strong partner, like United States. We cannot go to be partner with China or Russia or Germany, because they always taking advantage of Poland. So the thing it is the Polish-American Brotherhood making sense, and I hope eventually Polish-American Brotherhood will grow to the point that we're gonna be like brothers, not the blood brothers, but brothers, strong brothers, that Poland will help America, and America will help Poland, especially, I don't know if you heard about the 3Cs, what even Mr. Trump liked that idea, and he will help Poland to create that 3Cs. Anybody who don't know what the 3Cs means, it means the countries in Middle Europe, which consists between Baltic Sea, Black Sea, and Adriatic Sea. Okay, because those countries are very small and not powerful, and because those countries was under the Soviets, they couldn't develop well. And now we have the opportunity to create and be a strong Middle Europe country together with the other smaller country. And I can mention about the countries which is now like Czech, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Bulgaria, even Austria is in 3Cs, and Austria speak Germans, but they are welcome, okay, to 3Cs, and hopefully we're going to get strong, especially that we're going to get another base from United States where they want to place another 10,000 American soldiers in Poland, you know. So we're going to be more powerful. No Russian going to be killing Polish presidents anymore.
I remember when we first started the Polish American Brotherhood back in 2020, and we started off with posting history videos and Polish hero videos and facts about Poland. And the riots had broken out with BLM, and how the Kosciuszko statue was vandalized in Washington, D.C. And then Dad and I had gone up to D.C. for the walkaway march, and which led us to, like, his dad got sick when we were in DC, so from COVID. And so while he was hospitalized, and I ended up staying there for 6-7 weeks or so, but that's where I started becoming more political. And then just seeing how the BLM Plaza, that area, was just covered and littered with all the signs, and how I remember when the statue was vandalized by BLM, and Dad was very sad about it, because he's like, nobody will ever stand up for Kosciuszko, and Kosciuszko is part of the reason why the Americans had won the Revolutionary War. He was like side by side with General George Washington, and one of the pivotal people for reasons why America had won the revolution. You have other figures like Lafayette that get all the credit, but like, who knows about Kosciuszko? So I had my own little protest, and I pulled down the signs that were in front of the BLM Plaza, in front of the Kosciuszko sign, and shouted, "This is for Kosciuszko." Little did I know would that lead me down the path that I had gone to. But that's what the Polish American Brotherhood is about, even though we do sprinkle in a lot of protest coverage, because as I tried to develop my work as a journalist, the Polish American Brotherhood is about the camaraderie between Poland and America, little known facts that as we go multiple generations into to basically becoming more American, but we also lose our origin, our ethnic roots. So we don't want to ever forget the history of what made America to what it is today, because like that instills pride in you. And when you have something to be proud of, that's when you stand up. So that's why it's important to be proud to be an American. So that way you stand up for what America was founded upon, and so that we don't lose those core values the way that things are shifting over now. And that's why when people come and immigrate to the US, they pledge to protect the Constitution. They pledge to have the values of what it is to be an American. And those are the values and things that have made America great, and what has made it to be unique in the world, and therefore become a world superpower. Everybody wants to come to America, and unfortunately everybody cannot. Everybody does want to search for a better life, but then there are those who are nefarious, who come here to destroy America and to change it into like what we see in the other parts of the world, in which case it's like, whenever you take somebody in, you take their problems as well. So we do have to be vetting. We do have to properly allow those who will benefit America when they come in, and that's going to be the people who are hard workers. Of course, like America has to do its part with being a world player when it comes to the refugee program as well. But that doesn't mean that we're just one boat in this entire world. The whole world has to do its part, but if everybody comes into our boat, it's going to topple. So that's why it's important to properly vet those, and those who are allowed into America are the ones who are going to be beneficial to America, and most importantly of all, uphold the spirit of what it means to be an American. So that way we don't want to change what are the foundations that have made us truly unique in this world.
Yeah, they asked Tara what part of Poland I am. I'm from the center of Poland, in a small city which was like 20,000 people, but was north, I would say 10 miles of the second largest city in Poland, which called Łódź. And actually, when I was already 18 years old, I moved to Warsaw, where I worked for Fiat, and I spent 2 years, and then I decided that America is my place where I want to be. So that's why I end up in America.
Pulling up an interesting comment from Force Multiplier. Poland is one of the few countries that is not allowing the invasion of migrants. Smart. Yeah, that is smart because they're like, can you talk to about the strict migration policies that Poland has adopted, especially our favorite parliamentarian, uh, I forgot his name, but he's the one that said that not one illegal shall come into Poland, and that's part of the reason why Poland is super safe. Like they don't have the problems that the rest of Western Europe is having, where women have to protect themselves when they're walking down the streets or being followed. I remember even one time, Mom and I were walking in. We were in Bruges and not Bruges, sorry, it was in Brussels in Belgium, and then we were like being followed by like Muslim guys, and so we were like crossing the street, and another guy would follow across, and then we like ran behind what looked like local people and everything, and so we ran behind two men and just like tapped on the shoulder, and they looked around at the guys, and the guys like buzzed off at that point. But that's the kind of like I felt like I was back in the Medinas of the Middle East and in the Maghreb areas where I had to like those parts of the world, it's difficult to walk through a souk or a Medina without being followed. I was constantly jumping into shops to try and lose people who were randomly following me. So I'm like, now parts of Europe has really turned into that as well. Even when I'm frequently in France, like different neighborhoods and everything, you're followed. I'm like, go away, go away. And I'm like very like strict, like no, like this. So I become quite aggressive to get people off my trail there, and that's Europe. So circling back to the original point, Poland is not like that at all. Can you talk to the reasons why?
Well, you mentioned, I think, about Dominik Tarczyński, which he says no illegal immigrants can come to Poland. The problem it is that the Belarus, the country east of Poland, inviting all the people to Belarus and then sending them to Polish border. Okay, that's why the Poland built a wall between Belarus and Poland, just like Trump built a wall between Mexico and United States. But the wall not going to protect it, everybody to come. But Poland is not against the immigration; it is against the illegal immigration, which you're supposed to, when you want to come to Poland, you're supposed to register yourself, okay, and be checked where you came from, why you coming to this country, and if you're a good person, then you can go through that process of immigration.
Yeah,
you cannot just come to the country and hide yourself and be danger to people. So now so many people which was went, because Germany is very economically strong, so most of the immigration goes to Poland, to Germany. And what the Germans do, mostly the criminals, they throw them back to Poland, and Poland's supposed to give them all hospitality. That's the problem. And Polish people now feel very unsafe with all the immigration, what the German doing to those immigrants, which they don't want it,
Yeah,
they don't want to spend money
migration.
on shipping them to their other country, so they just put them in a bus and shipping them to Poland, to the border.
And it's actually incorrect when they say that Poland doesn't take immigrants or refugees, because Poland took in the most amount of Ukrainian refugees during this war than the entire world combined. And so what's the population of Poland, Dad?
Well, about when they start the war in Ukraine, there was 6 million Ukrainians coming to Poland. And now the amount is like 3 million living Ukrainian in Poland, and Poland giving them hospitality because, well, we understand that not everybody are good to fight the war, and mostly women, they coming to Poland, and I don't know, some of the men don't want to fight for Ukraine, so they also coming to Poland. And Poland cannot do anything because they are refugees.
Has Poland had issues with the refugees that are coming in? Like how has it been for Ukrainian refugees to be integrating into Polish society? Like, are they causing problem there, or are they able to work, communicate? Like, what has the vibe been?
Well, the thing is, most of the Ukrainian refugee they welcome and they good, but of course, some of them Ukrainian making problem, which Poland try to keep quiet to not make disturbing the Polish people. But the Poland still welcome and helping Ukrainian refugees. So that's a good thing, because they deserve to be helped, especially women with children. They're getting all the socials and they're getting the Poland helping them to also get a job. So they okay. There is no major problem with the Ukrainian people. No,
And
but
I think a lot of that has to do with the culture being very similar. And so when you're adapting into a new area, your ability to integrate and find commonalities is important to keeping the peace. Because when you have cultures that are so drastically different living next to each other, I mean, you need to have a peacekeeper in that regard. But when you have cultures that are similar, like between food, language, values, it's easier to get along. So it's not like such a shock of clashing cultures.
yeah, Ukrainian and Poland have similar culture, and even the language. I can understand. Even I don't speak Ukrainian, but some of them, like I would say, like 30-40%, I can understand Ukrainian language. So the barrier, and another thing, don't forget that. Also, there is a lot of Polish people living in Ukraine, which they still speak Polish. So when they come into Poland, they have no problem. And when I was in Poland, the outside the place where I live, there was some Ukrainian working, and my friends just always give every day. They give coffee, food to them. So they've been very welcome. And some of the Ukrainian, most of the Ukrainian appreciate Polish hospitality, especially that Poland taking good care of the Ukrainian children. They sending them to school and they getting all that social too, because I don't know if you know that Poland give 800 zloty Polish money, which I would say is more like $200 per month to every child. Not only Polish, they give also to Ukrainian children. So Polish, right? Poland has a lot of, I would say, 40 million people now, and actually Polish people don't want to have more children. So anybody from Ukraine are welcome to have a children in Poland.
There's an interesting point that Tara PoAm is making, is that he figures that the clashing was a globalist intention. Do you think that the globalists are intentionally causing certain problems? Because if there's no problems, then there's no need for a government to be solving those problems. So as soon as you solve problems, less government that's going to be needed, or even like the globalists. Do you think that some of the globalists, like the decisions that they're making, is being done intentionally in order to create these problems?
Well, globalists are very powerful. I'm not against globalists because the whole world, all the technology go all over the world, okay? And we have to be like control of every country, which mostly from another country, the scammers coming, and we have to control those scammers. And through that technology, they have access to United States people, and so sometimes it's a good point, but the globalists are mostly they don't have own country, okay, and all what they care is just to make money and get the power, which I don't know. The thing it is, I still believe that every country should take care of themselves, and part of the global network should be still implanted. Like we have the Interpol, which is a global police, and it's hard to say. Like I said, I'm not against the globalists, but take care of your own country, and then if we taking care of own country, then the world gonna be better.
Yeah, absolutely. The unapologetic Americans saying if whether or not the PBs are going to be any of the protests, I'll look out for them. So hopefully, and that way I can say, yoo proud of your boy. Okay, Dad, we're heading up against an hour. So tonight's program was going to be quite short, just a little test run with the microphones and everything. And so we'll be continuing to do these tests. But I am headed out to New York this weekend to be covering the Hands Off NYC protest. That's going to be on Saturday at Bryant Park at 1 p.m. I will be going live from on the ground. So, for those of you guys who want to be seeing the live action as it unfolds, be sure to check out On the Ground with Tara, and you'll be able to see everything that's going on live as it happens. And then from there, I'll drop an edited video of the interviews and the action that unfolds on that day. There's a couple different protests that are going to be going on. Prior to that, I'm going to try and stop by the Tesla showroom that's over in Meatpacking and see if we can talk to a couple people out there. They do have that usually going on. The Takedown Tesla protests that occur at the Tesla showrooms are usually from 12 to 2 or 1 or 11 to 1. So I will check that out in the Meatpacking district. They have several Tesla locations in New York City. So I plan on stopping by the Meatpacking district one before I head to the Hands Off New York City protest. And with that, again, be sure to like, share, subscribe, the Polish American Brotherhood. Be sure to like, share, subscribe On the Ground with Tara. And I look forward to bringing you more coverage. Any final remarks, Dad, for this evening?
Well, John Paul II says, don't be scared. Raise your voice. If you are a patriot, support Mr. Trump, okay? And let him know that we love him and we always going to support him. And thanks Elon Musk too. Thank you, my friends, and see you with another program.